Okay. Well, we are in chapter 20 in Sefer Shmuel Aleph. Last time, what we saw that Shaul is openly trying to kill David already, sending soldiers, and David escaped to Shmuel, to the prophet, and Shaul sending soldiers to catch him, to kill him, but they start prophesying. They started to be they're inspired by the prophet and they become prophets themselves. So he sent one group, second group. In the end, he goes by himself and he himself starts to prophesy. So it looks like Hashem himself is protecting David. And the next chapter continue. Just a second, yeah. Apparently, in the same very moment when Shaul is there in front of Shmuel, and he is prophesying in front of Shmuel. That's what we saw. Let's see the last verse in the former chapter. So he was in his way there, meaning Shaul himself, to Nayot in Ramah, when the Spirit of God came upon him, and he walked on speaking in ecstasy. We say that the Hebrew words is Va'itnabe, prophesied, until he reached Nayot in Ramah. So then he too stripped off his clothes and he spoke in ecstasy before Shmuel. He prophesied before Shmuel, and he lay naked all the day and all the night. That is why people say, is Shaul too among the prophets? So this is where we finished last time. We spoke about all of that, the meaning of taking off the clothes. And when David sees that Shaul arrives there, he understands he must escape. But he escaping, I don't know how you say that in English. In Hebrew, we say to the mouth of the lion. Instead of skipping, I don't know, to other place, he returned to the capital, to where the palace is. He returned to Jonathan. David fled from Nayot in Ramah, so Shaul is there, so he's running away. And he came to Jonathan, meaning to Giv'ah, in the house of Shaul. So he came directly to the mouth of the lion. And what about Jonathan? So we saw before that Jonathan was the son of Shaul, but a very good friend of David. He was allied with David. But will he be loyal to him against his father? Now, when it's clearly his father wants to kill him, Jonathan must choose between friendship and family. This is a very hard choice to choose between friends and family, right? But David comes to him, he still trusts him, and he tells him, he comes to Jonathan and said, "What have I done? What is my crime and my guilt against your father, that he seeks my life?" Here there are three words, me'asiti, me'avoni, u'mechatati. So the Mefarshim say that David said that in every aspect, if you have bad actions that I did morally, or something like that, if I did something against the Torah, or if I did something against the kingdom, against the country, betrayal. I didn't do anything bad. Why does he try to kill me? That conversation was already done before once, and we would expect that after Shaul clearly tried to kill David in front of everybody, sending soldiers, that Jonathan say, okay, we have to find solution. But Jonathan, it's really strange, is, how do you say, negando, makrish, meaning he's saying it's not true. Deny. Yeah, Jonathan is denying that Shaul is even trying to kill him. He replied, heaven forbid, you shall not die. My father did not do anything great or small without disclosing it to me. We saw in the former chapters that once he wanted to kill David, he told Jonathan. So he says there's nothing new. But what's happened with all the things that happened just in the last chapter when Shaul tried to kill David? Why Jonathan ignore that? So anyway, he said, I will try to explain. Why should my father conceal this matter from me? It cannot be. So Jonathan is quite sure because apparently it was true that Jonathan was very close to Shaul. Jonathan was a potential heir. He was the one who was supposed to continue Shaul to be the king after him. And apparently they were very close together. And he trusted him and he was a strong soldier. We saw that he himself killed 20 Plishtim in one battle. So apparently Jonathan is quite sure that there's nothing that Shaul is planning without telling him. So how does he explain the attempt to kill David in the last chapter? The answer is very simple. Everything is related to the bad spirit of Shaul. So Shaul has episodes of being, I would say, not very sane. He has this episode of bad spirit. We saw starting from when Hashem abandoned him, he started to feel sometimes, and then David was playing for him to calm him down. So the two times that Shaul directly tried to kill David was when he was in that mood. And you can say that everybody understood that when Shaul is in this bad mood, everything can happen. So Jonathan says, David, it's nothing planned. You know that sometimes he's crazy, he's doing crazy things, but it's not something that is planned, because if it was planned in cold mind, with full conscience, he would have told me that. So that was the reason that Jonathan is sure that it's not happening. And then David say, no, there can be a situation that even though it's not only the craziness, it's not only the bad spirit that he had, it's a decision. It's a decision to take me out. So David swore, Father, your father knows well that you are fond of me, and has decided Jonathan must not learn of this, or will be grieved, or he will be grieved. So David says that Shaul is worried that Jonathan will be grieved. He didn't say that Shaul is worried that Jonathan will prevent it in some way. Maybe he will tell David, but maybe this is another reason. He didn't want your father suspect you. Your father doesn't want you to be sad that he's going to kill me. So he didn't tell you. But as God lived and you live, and as you live, there is only a step between me and death. Kefesa beni uven hamavet. Fesa, it's one step. It's also a term in Hebrew. Someone who is in big danger, we say, kafesa beno, there's one step between him and death. So David is telling him, it's not like you think. It's not only the bad mood. It's not only this explanation. It's something now permanent. It's a final decision to kill me. So Jonathan say, what should we do? What do you think Jonathan should have done? Maybe the best solution would have been to Jonathan to go with David away, to run away. Again, it's a choice between friendship and family. And or maybe the bigger benefit for David. David was married to Michal. Yeah. Not Jonathan. Jonathan, a brother.
It's family from both.
You say that it's Michal. It also was had to choose. Remember that one of the attempts to kill David was when he was in his house with his wife, and she was hiding him. And when Shaul accused her, "Why are you hiding my enemy?" she told him, "No, he obligated me." So Michal had the same choice to do, and Jonathan also. In the case of Jonathan, it's even more than that. If you are sticking with a friendship, that means, and everybody knows, it's quite clear already, that you are giving up your crown, that you are not going to be the heir, you are not going to be the one who continue Shaul. So for Jonathan, there is two questions here. First, I'm going to betray my father, and second, I'm going to give up my kingdom, my crown. But it looks like it shows correctly. So Jonathan said to David, whatever you want, I will do it for you. Here in Hebrew, it's using special words. Ma tomar nafshecha. Nafshecha, your soul. There is also meaning of nefesh as will. אם יש את נפשך לקבור את מתים מלפניי, אם יש את נפשכם לקבור את מתים מלפניי, if there is your will to bury my wife, please speak with the throne, okay, with Abraham. And there are other ways, other places when nefesh is not soul, is will, because we say the will is coming from the soul, what my will is. But it's a more I would say emotional word that show closeness. Okay, what תאמר נפשך ואעשה לך. The chapter starts with David saying, כי מבקש את נפשי. He is asking, looking for my life. And here he says, what your nafshecha wants. Ma tomar nafshecha ve'esefcha. Okay, so it's like closing this small parasha. And then they have the plan. So this plan that they are going to read now, it's something that we are reading every time as Haftarah when it's Shabbat is one day before Rosh Chodesh. When Rosh Chodesh is on Sunday, we are reading this Haftarah on Shabbat. Even if there are other Haftarot, we are not reading the other Haftarah, we read that, apart from Shloshet HaShavuot or 4 parashot. And we have to see why. So the simple reason is because it says, Hineh Chodesh Machar. יום דוד ונתן, הנה חודש מחר.
The first time that we see that after Parashat Chumash Shmot that they celebrate Chodesh, no? Chumash Shmot mentioned החודש הזה אחרי ראש חודשים, and then I don't remember in the Bible that
what? About Rosh Chodesh?
They celebrate Rosh Chodesh or something like that.
Yeah, but they celebrate. Let's see the story. Okay, anyway, ויאמר דוד, David said to Jonathan, tomorrow is a new moon, and I'm not sit with the king at the meal. Instead, let me go, and I will hide in the countryside until the third evening. So, what apparently was they used to do, that Rosh Chodesh was like an holiday. It was almost like an holiday. And they had a big feast, big feast in the palace. And everybody, all the officers, all the important people in the kingdom should have been there, like the monthly meeting of all the important people. So David said, let's do a test, and we will see if what is the real opinion of your father. So apparently he's going to ride to the meal. He will be in a good mood, right? Everything not going to be with bad spirit, apparently. And we will do the test there. Now, he said, but I won't come, against the rules, right? All the officers should be there, I won't be there. So my place will be empty. Don't let anyone else sit in my place. So it's going to be noticeable that I'm not there. Everybody will see David is not coming to the meal. And let's see what will be the reaction of your father. Let's see just a second. We will see the plan. I just want to mention, it looks like they celebrated Rosh Chodesh 2 days. But it says until the third evening. So today is 1 day. Tomorrow there is Rosh Chodesh. Day after it's also Rosh Chodesh. So apparently, like we are doing today, sometimes 2 days, they also did 2 days. And then he says, if your father notes my absence, you say, David asked my permission to run down to his hometown, Bethlehem, for the whole family has its annual sacrifice there. We are not starting to read from that. That's before what we read in the. We're going to see later what we read in the Shabbat before Rosh Chodesh. So if he says good, your servant is safe. So I know that if he say good, so your servant is safe, meaning I'm safe. If he won't be annoyed, that means that it was only the bad spirit, but he's okay. But if his anger flares up, know that he is resolved to do me harm. So this is the sign. Let's see how Shaul react to the absence of David. And now David asked, deal faithfully with your servant, since you have taken your servant into a covenant of God with you. And if I am guilty, kill me yourself, but don't make me go back to your father. What is the meaning of this sentence? David say, if you think I'm guilty, don't just kill me, don't send me. David may be worried that this dilemma of Jonathan is not totally decided yet. So that Jonathan won't kill him himself, but maybe he will be loyal to his father. Maybe he will cooperate with his father. So he said, if you are against me, let me know now. Don't trick me. So David is not, it looks in this sentence that David is not really sure that Jonathan has already have made his mind in this conflict between David and Shaul. That's what it looks from this, at least from this sentence. And he mentions the brit, the covenant between them. They swear to each other. So David, Jonathan is confirming the covenant, but I would say with, how do you say, starix?
Asterisk.
Asterisk, yeah. Jonathan replied, don't talk like that. If I learn that my father has resolved to kill you, I will surely tell you about it, but won't join you. That I had, right? Meaning, I'm not going to betray you. I'm not going to give you in, but I'm not going to join you. I have to stay with my father. Again, we can understand that in several reasons. Why does he stay with his father? First, maybe because he's not totally with David. He's going two sides of the floor, right? Also, maybe it's good. It can be more beneficial for David to have someone in the palace. So maybe so in this case, he's totally in the side of David, or maybe he understands that his father needs help. His father really needs help to run the country, to deal with his mental issues, with all the stuff. He didn't want to abandon his father. So anyway, he says, I swear to you, I won't do any bad to you. I will let you know. Okay, that was the agreement. David said to Jonathan, who will tell me if your father answered you harshly? So, but how would I know? If he decided to kill me, how will he let me know? So apparently it's too dangerous to send someone or to meet themselves. I need to know. So Jonathan has an idea, and Jonathan said to David, let us go into the open. And they both went out into the open. Why to go into the open? First, because there is going to show him what will be the sun. Second, it's safer. If you want to plan something against the king, it's better not to do that in a house. You don't know who is listening from the other side of the wall. If there is someone close, in the palace, it's a dangerous place. Let's go out and look. Let's speak in the field. And then they are going and sending again the plan. Then Jonathan said to David, by the eternal, the God of Israel, I will sound out my father at this time tomorrow, or on the third day. We said it's 2 days. And if his response is favorable for David, I will send a message to you at once and disclose it to you. So if everything is okay, there's no problem. I will send someone, I will bring you. And then he swore again. But if my father intended to do you harm, may God do those to Jonathan and more. This is a kind of a swore. Hashem will punish me if I'm not fulfilling what I'm saying. And more, if I do not disclose to you, so those, may God do thus to Jonathan and more, I mean, even more than that, if I do not disclose it to you and send you off to escape unharmed. May God be with you, as God was formerly with my father. And then Jonathan adds something else. I know that you're going to be the king, and I know that you're going to succeed, and I want you. So what usually, when there is a new king that is going to the crown, what he's doing to the former king's family? He kills everybody because he doesn't want competition. So he asked him, please, the same as I'm helping you, when you will be king, please don't kill me. Not only don't kill me and my family and everything. That's what he says. Nor shall you fail to show me God's faithfulness while I am alive, nor when I am dead. This is also important. Also, if I'm dead, so who is going to be the potential competition? The son of the king, or the nephew, or someone like that. So he says, shall you ever discontinue your faithfulness to my house, not even after God has wiped out every one of David's enemies from the face of the earth? Thus Jonathan covenanted with the house of David, and may God requite the enemies of David. So I mean, he prayed, and this is also a little bit sensitive. He prayed that Hashem will defeat the enemies of David. Who is the main enemy of David right now? His father. So he is saying that in a not very clear way, but he's actually saying, I'm in your side. I want you to win. I want you to be the king. Okay, just please swear me that you won't act against my family. And they did this. Jonathan, out of his love for David, adjured him again, and for he loved him as himself. And this is here, from this verse we are starting to read. the Haftarah. ויאמר לו יונתן מחר חודש, ונפקדת כי יפקד נושבך. So Jonathan now return on the plan between them, and also tell him what's going to be the sign. Jonathan said to him, tomorrow will be the new moon meaning the new month, right? And you will be missed when your seat remains vacant. Like we said before, you're not going to come against the rules of the palace, and it's going to be noticeable. Your seat is going to be vacant. So the day after tomorrow, go down all the way to the place where you hid the other time, in the first time that they spoke in the field. You should go far away to be in a safe place. You stay close to the Ezel stone. It's not very clear what does it mean, Ezel stone. Apparently, it's a kind of a milestone, right? You know what is milestone? In the Romans road, they used to put stones every mile.
Like a sign that we have to
Yeah, so it's become a phrase to like a sign. What? A landmark. Yeah, right. So it's like a sign in the middle of the way. So there is a big stone to you are in the right road, right? Don't worry. So you're going to apparently some of Farshim says they are talking about this guy. Never mind. Some place you will sit in near close. Now I will shoot 3 arrows to one side of it, as though I were shooting at a mark. So I will like shooting on this stone. Now Jonathan apparently was a very good, how do you say, archer? Yeah, archer. In the Kina, when David is crying for Jonathan after he died, he said, "Keshet Jonathan lo tashuv achor." The arc, the arc of Jonathan, the bow of Jonathan won't go away. So always it was exact. And generally, the people of Binyamin were known for being very accurate. If you remember, we saw that in the war in the end of Sefer Shoftim, Pilegesh Bagivah. So they were very accurate. Kol'im el ha'se'ara. They could hit the air from a distance. So Jonathan was very good with that. So he's not missing. So when he's shooting the arrow, it will arrive where he wants. So he said, I will shoot the arrow in a way that the arrow will be the sign. Okay, let's see how it says. So, and I will order the boy to go and find the arrows. If I call to the boy, hey, the arrows are on the side of you, be reassured and come, for you are safe and there is no danger, as God lives. So I won't cheat you. You can come. But if I call to the lad, hey, the arrows are beyond you, then leave, for God has sent you away. It looks here that if there is a danger, it's better that they will never talk again. You should go away. You should run away. We won't meet. And it didn't happen later. We're going to see that it didn't happen. But what it looks like now, Jonathan is going to make a sign that only David and him understand. David is going to be hidden. And if there is a problem, he's going to say, hey, the arrows are beyond you. And then David understands it's dangerous. He must run away. And they say that without speaking with Jonathan, without anything. Okay? As for the promise we made to each other, may God be witness between you and me forever. So what is the promise? The promise is that Jonathan will tell him the truth. If there is a danger, Jonathan will tell him. And the promise of David is that he won't harm him when he will become a king. That was a promise, and Hashem is witness between them. Okay, so as planned, that's what's happened. David hid in the field, the new moon came, and the king sat down to partake of the meal. When the king took his usual place on the seat by the wall, Jonathan rose and Avner sat down at Shaul's side. But David's place remained vacant. Apparently, it was Shaul, and then Avner, who was a minister of defense, or of attack, I don't know, the army minister, and after him was the seat of David. But David's place remained vacant. So the first day, Shaul is not saying anything. That day, however, Shaul said nothing. It's accidental, he thought. He must be impure and not yet purified. So the law says that if someone is impure, he must stay away from people for one day. Depends what is the source of the impurity, but he said it's regular impurity. So Shaul didn't say it's an accident, right? He didn't come. So again in the next day, but on the day after the new moon, the second day, David's place was vacant again. We have here a pause in the middle of the verse. The pay here is a pause in the middle of the verse. Apparently, it's come to show that it was a pause in what's happening. People were wondering, not saying anything. It was like tense silence because everybody knew that Shaul was trying to kill David. Everybody knew that David's supposed to be there, and he wasn't in the second day. So there is an elephant in the room, but nobody is speaking about it. What's going on between David and Shaul? So there is like a pause, and then Shaul asked Jonathan. So Shaul said to his son Jonathan, "Why didn't the son of Ishai come to the meal yesterday or today?" And Jonathan answered Shaul, "David begged leave of me to go to Bethlehem, the house of David. He said, 'Please let me go, for we are going to have a family feast in our town, and my brother has summoned me off to it. Do me a favor, let me slip away to see my king. That is why he has not come to the king's table.'" Is it a good excuse? It's a reasonable excuse. Let's say, at least it shouldn't be, he may say to him, "You know what, it's against the rules, don't do that next time, it's not okay, you should have been here," in the worst case. In the normal case, he would say, "Okay, that's fine, he can see his family, nothing happened." The reaction of the Shaul for the other side wasn't like that. And I think there are maybe one of the most rudest verses in the Tanakh. Right? Shaul flew into a rage against Jonathan. "You son of a perverse." I'm not sure about the translation of the word, but he's cursing his mother. "You son of a perverse, rebellious woman," he shouted. I know that you side with the son of Ishai, to your shame and to your shame of your mother's nakedness." I really don't save words. Doesn't speak French. How do you say it? It's not, excuse me for my French. Yeah. It's very, very, so,
It's a term, בין אהבת המורדות.
yeah, but these terms come from here.
Yeah.
The son of a rebellious woman, meaning you are not my son. Who knows who's your father? So it's when Shaul is going all the way, right? He's not making space to any kind of doubt, of question. He wants to kill him, and he thinks that David is against him. And he says also he is a competition of the crown. And that's what he's saying to Jonathan. For as long as the son of Ishai lives on earth, neither you nor your kingship will be secure. So he is presenting here is fear. This fear is a competition for the crown, and he's saying to Jonathan, "You should be the king and not him. Now then, have him brought to me, for he is marked for death." But Jonathan spoke up and said to his father, "Why should he be put to death? What has he done?" As that, Shaul threw his spear at him to strike him down. Who? Jonathan.
Yeah.
So if you are not with me, you are against me. If you are with David, you are against me. It's not very clear if you really throw it. The Hebrew, it's questionable. It says, "Vayatel Shaul et achanit alav lehakoto." Lehakoto meaning, he could have said, לנסות להכותו, משהו כזה, something like that, but להכותו meaning, some מפרשים at least say, he didn't really throw the spear on him, he just like threatened him. He lifted him and like going to throw it. And then is when Jonathan understands. Jonathan realized that his father was determined to do away with David. Jonathan rose from the table in a rage. He ate no food on the second day of the new moon because he was grieved about David and because his father had humiliated him. Humiliated whom? There are two ways to explain. First of all, I want to say that the word "and" is not in the Hebrew. It says, "Ki ne'etzav el David ki ichlimo aviv." So we can understand if we have the vav here, the "and," we can understand there are two reasons that he was sad. He was sad because of David, and he was sad because his father insulted him, meaning Jonathan. He was insulted. Why did his father spoke with him like that in front of everybody in the feast meal. He almost threw the spear on him. So he was insulted and embarrassed by the behavior of his father. But if you don't read the vow, which is not in the Hebrew, you can understand that he didn't care about himself at all. כי נעצב על David, he was sorry for David. Why? Because his father embarrassed David. כי כלימו, it's about him who? Not him, Jonathan, him, David. Right? It's also a way to read that. So he grieved about David because his father has humiliated him, meaning David. That according to that reading, I think which is the correct reading, is that he was sorry only about David, not about himself. He didn't care about himself. So that now is very clear. It's in front of everybody, and not when Shaulin is a ruach ra'ah with a bad spirit. It's in clear mind. We have a fight, we have a war between David and Shaul, and now Jonathan must fulfill his promise, and he must tell David, and that's what he's doing. In the morning, so in the next day, Jonathan went out into the open for the meeting with David, accompanied by a young boy. So he won't understand, and he won't tell anyone anything. He said to the boy, run ahead and find the arrows that I shoot. And as the boy ran, he shot the arrows past him. So the third one, we said three, right? So the third one, he did it far away. And the boy came to the place where the arrows shot by Jonathan had fallen. Jonathan called out to the boy, hey, the arrows are beyond you. So this is a sign for David. And it's clear now also David gets the information. So according to the plan, David should have gone away and run away. That's what he should have done in that moment. But something else happened. And Jonathan called after the boy, quick, hurry up, don't stop. So Jonathan's boy gathered the arrows and came back to his master. The boy suspected nothing. Only Jonathan and David knew the arrangement. Jonathan handed the gear to his boy and told him, take this back to the town. When the boy got there, David emerged from his concealment at the Negev. Negev meaning from the south, or from some place, but it wasn't in the Negev, in the south part of Israel. Negev is the south. So he came from the south, he flung himself face down on the ground and bowed low 3 times. Why did he do that? As a gesture of gratefulness. Thank you that you didn't betray me, that you didn't give me into your father. And also maybe as a respect, because he's the son of the king, and also maybe as of love. They kissed each other and wept together. David wept the longer. So the question that we raised before, if they could speak, why did they need the sign? They can just meet. Why did they need the sign? So there are 2 possible answers for that. First of all, maybe when they planned, they didn't know what's going to happen. They didn't know if Jonathan is going to be alone with his father. Maybe there are going to be other people there. So they maybe planned, in a case we cannot speak. But then nobody was there. The boy went away. So they saw, yeah, we can speak. So that's one explanation. The second explanation, I think maybe it's even more makes sense, is that they couldn't hold themselves. They felt they must speak for the last time. It was the last time they spoke to each other, the last time they met. I think there was another time. I'm going to see later on. I think, yeah, there's going to be another time. I'm not sure. Okay, we will see. Anyway, they wanted to do farewell, to say goodbye. And so even though it was dangerous, it wasn't planned, it shouldn't have done that, they decided to meet each other and to speak, and that's what they did. So Jonathan said to David, go in peace, for we two have sworn to each other in the name of God. May God be witness between you and me, and between your offspring and mine forever. I want to add 2 things here. First of all, why it was important to say that David wept up longer. At David Igdil. Why is matter who wept, who cried more?
Maybe David saw in the prophecy was that Jonathan going to die.
He doesn't say so.
I
I mean, he
just
didn't say. I think there can be maybe David has here more to lose than Jonathan. David is going out to be in the desert to run away for his life. So why are they crying? They're crying for saying goodbye to each other. They're crying because of the danger of David, and that they have to say goodbye. So Jonathan has this problem, right? I'm sorry for my friend, and I won't see him anymore, and this is the reason I'm sad. David is crying, and he's sad because I'm in death. The king wants to kill me. Maybe so. It's he has bigger reasons to cry. And I think also maybe the other explanation is there are tendency in some of the modern interpreters to say Jonathan loves David, but David doesn't love Jonathan. In all the chapters until now, it only said Jonathan loved David. Jonathan loved, it doesn't say that David loved Jonathan. I think this is a bad way to read this. I mean, you don't have to say both sides. Maybe what you have to emphasize that even though Shaul was against David, Jonathan did love him. That's why the Tanakh speaks about the love of Jonathan to David and not the love of David to Jonathan, because that is something that you should say, that it's not clear for himself. But David liked everybody. David liked Shaul. He loved Shaul. We can see that later. He loved his wife. He loved his friends. It's nothing new to say that David loved Jonathan. And also here it says David cried even more than Jonathan for saying goodbye. David also loved Jonathan, and he cried for that not less, even more than Jonathan did to him. So I think this is maybe the point. And now the final comment about this chapter. Why do we read that? It looks like really random. I mean, that we're reading that in the Shabbat before Rosh Chodesh. Because you say tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh. Okay, so that's the reason we are reading that every Shabbat that comes before Rosh Chodesh. Maybe it's related to the idea of Rosh Chodesh. What is the idea of Rosh Chodesh? That the moon is born, is reborn. So it's the same moon, it disappeared for a while, and then it reborn again. It's renewing the life. They did a big deal for Rosh Chodesh, like we said. It's a special meal and feast, and everybody comes together, and they didn't work in that day. And being able to renew something, but it is connected to the past, this is something that is very challenging. You know, to know how to continue the past from one side, but to start something new also, or to adapt it to the new reality. So it's like the new moon, it's something new. It's something old and it's something new. And Jonathan has to choose between the past and the future, between his father and his friend who is going to be the king. And Jonathan is not choosing exactly, but he does know where the truth is. So he didn't go with David, but he knew that David is going to. While Shaul is sticking with the past, he wants to maintain his kingdom, his family, doesn't want to change anything. Jonathan understand we're now going to a new phase where David is going to be the leader, where Shevet Yehuda is going to be the leader, right? And we have to join that, to know how to reborn, renew. It's something that is challenging, and every Rosh Chodesh we are, or not every Chodesh, when it's on Shabbat, we are in the Haftarah to remind us. First of all, we have a friendship and loyalty and trust and love and friendship. This is values that are always important. And specifically Rosh Chodesh, meaning starting anew, continuing with the past and starting anew, it's also a message that comes from the decision of Jonathan in this chapter.
One of the things that I'm concerned about, Shaul knew that he wasn't going to be king. He was told that. So why is he constantly fighting like this?
You know, we not only always do the right thing, right? We try to go against the will of Hashem.
Well, how do you do that? You can't go against the will.
You know, when kings, sometimes you have to even kidnap them, to stick to the crown. I mean, the kings, it's really hard to remove someone from power. Once you have power, you don't want to give it up. This is a great invention of democracy, that there is a peaceful way to change government. It wasn't happening. Or Maduro. President Maduro, also you have to tell him. Okay. I mean, that's a great invention, being able to transfer power peacefully. It's something that wasn't happening in the past. So Shaul wants to stick.
He's going to be in Iran, not peacefully.
Because he wants power. He doesn't want to give up the power.